It seems for the next couple of weeks, Thursday is going to be my favorite day out of the entire week because I will be receiving peak every single Thursday. My Friday can be trash. My Saturday can be ass. My Sunday can be mid. My Monday can be disappointing. My Tuesday can be atrocious. My Wednesday can be tiresome. But once it's Wednesday, even though I will be so exhausted, even though I will be so tired of everything, once it hits 12 a.m., my sadness will turn into happiness. My anger will turn into excitement because once it hits 12 a.m. every single Thursday, I will have a big grin from ear to ear looking like the Joker. I will be so ecstatic. I will be so happy. And not only that, I will be at peace because I know that peak is around the corner. You're probably asking to yourself, yo, big bro, why are you so happy about Thursdays all of a sudden? When the hell did Thursdays become the best day of the week? I'm gonna tell you the reason why Thursday, as from now, is going to be your favorite day to look out for, and that is because Invincible Season 3 is always going to be dropping new episodes every single Thursday for the next couple of weeks. Now, last week we saw Invincible drop 3 peak episodes in my honest opinion, and it seems that that trend is continuing in terms of the quality of the show because episode 4 just dropped, and man,
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. That shit was peak. I literally could not believe what I was watching because for the most part, the entire story was ripped from the pages onto the TV screen. This entire season so far is almost a one-to-one adaptation from the Invincible comics, despite there being some slight changes. Now, let me tell you some of the slight changes, and you will actually see the beginning of the episode actually showcases a slight change because, you know, we are in the volume where Invincible gets his first disgusting fight, and I'm talking about when he faces Conquest at the end of the season in season 3. But since we are almost near the halfway point, let's compare where we are currently at in the comics. And in the comics, we are currently at issue 54 because in the previous episode, aka in issue 53, we saw Mark, he finally witnesses Kid Omni-Man's true nature. He finally witnesses that, damn, Kid Omni-Man is exactly like Omni-Man, is exactly like our father. And to be honest with you, Kid Omni-Man is kind of right when he is talking about, are humans really that important? And we see how Mark, he will soon handle this revelation because Mark, he really does not want the situation of Omni-Man to repeat again. So he will be trying his hardest to make sure that Kid Omni-Man does not follow in the same footsteps. But when we now reach issue 54, we see that in the episode 4, there is some little differences that starts off because in issue 54, you know, they still keep the same setting, they still keep the same type of story going on, but in issue 54 it starts off with Mark and Adam Eve. They are actually on a date and they are basically trying to reconnect their relationship. They're trying to rekindle their relationship, and it's actually just a lot of dialogue between Mark and Adam Eve. Then when Mark now goes back home to Kid Omni-Man, he is scolding Kid Omni-Man. He's trying to tell Kid Omni-Man, look, you can't keep on doing this. You should not do this ever again. He's basically trying to teach Kid Omni-Man to not do that same mistake of killing people ever again. We're just seeing a lot of dialogue in that issue. Then we now see Mark, he now confronts Titan, and he basically gets into a little confrontation with Titan, and the issue ends with Mark and Kid Omni-Man, they are embracing each other, and Kid Omni-Man is finally apologizing to Mark, and he finally tells Mark that, look, okay, I will do what you say, I will not do my mistake ever again. But the issue ends when Kid Omni-Man, he sees and he peeps that someone is watching them. But that's not what happens in episode 4 of season 3, because episode 4 of season 3 starts off with Rexplode and his girlfriend Shrinking Ray. But the thing about this relationship is that this relationship isn't really accurate to the comics, because in the comics, Shrinking Ray is not a girl, he's actually a man called Shrinking Ray. But in the show, Shrinking Ray is a woman. Now she is in a romantic relationship with Rexplode, but that relationship is actually cut short. This date that they're on is actually cut short due to a supervillain causing rampage in the city. But after that ends, we see Shrinking Ray and Rexplode return back to the new base of the Guardians of the Globe, and we see that they are actually hovering in a meeting. We don't actually see this meeting until issue 57, when the Guardians of the Globe are basically talking with each other, and Mark, he is telling the entire team that, look, I found this machine, I found this thing that has been watching me at home. So now I do think that this is a plan from Cecil Stedman to continue to watch me. So then Mark now flies into the Pentagon to confront Cecil Stedman, but Cecil tells Mark that, look, you just destroyed all of my robots in this vicinity. This is not me. You need to get out of here right now. At first, Mark did not believe Cecil Stedman, but Cecil actually reassures to Mark that, look, if I was spying on you, if I was stalking you, you would not have known. So this causes Mark to fly away, and Cecil now tells his assistant that, okay, we are actually stalking and watching the Invincible family, but this is not our equipment, so you need to take this to the lab and you need to investigate where this comes from. But the reason why I'm actually bringing up all of this is because the first scenes of episode 4 is not actually comic book accurate, but we actually get into the real comic book accuracy of this episode, and that starts off when Mark and Adam Eve are on a date. They are actually trying to rekindle their relationship because they actually are trying to love each other again after being separated for all this time. But their date is cut short because Fightmaster and Dropkick, they come through a portal and they interrupt their date. They tell Mark that, look, you have to come with us, we need your help, this is the only way that we can get to you. Mark does not want anything to do with these two because he just encountered these two not too long ago. These two literally stole the Declaration of Independence. So Mark, he tells these two that, look, I do not want to help both of you guys. If anything, I want to take you guys into jail. When Mark tells Fightmaster and Dropkick, at first Fightmaster and Dropkick, they go away. At first, Fightmaster and Dropkick, they go away, but in the show, they now come back and they kidnap Mark and they basically force Mark to go into the future. But the little thing about this is that in the comics, that didn't happen. In the comics, Mark actually willingly went with Fightmaster and Dropkick, but that's just a little change that they did. Once the three heroes go into the future, we see that the future is an apocalyptic future. Mark, he at first is still not wanting anything to do with these guys, but he is starting to believe their story. He's starting to see the surroundings of the future and how disgusting it looks and just how ravaged the entire world is looking right now. So as Fightmaster and Dropkick are explaining why they want Mark to help, they are explaining that there is a big tyrant that has been ruling the earth for hundreds of years, and this tyrant has been ruling the earth even before Fightmaster and Dropkick were born. So as they're basically telling Mark all of this exposition, Mark, he's thinking to himself, okay, yeah, I need to help these guys out because what they're saying is true. Despite them being thieves and despite these guys stealing the Declaration of Independence, I do really want to help these guys out right now, because if I don't, this entire future is going to be worse off if nothing changes. And Fightmaster and Dropkick, they even give a little deal to Mark saying that, okay, we can give you back the Declaration of Independence. So the plan that the three come up with is that they need to create a distraction. They need to create a noise and a disturbance that causes them to get arrested willingly, because that is the only way that Mark can meet this tyrant. And when that happens, it's actually 1-to-1 to the comics. So when Fightmaster and Dropkick, they are basically being taken away by the guards to a different room, Mark/Invincible, he is basically being taken to the tyrant's own room, the tyrant's main throne, because the tyrant has been wanting to see Invincible ever since this conquest started. And now you're probably asking yourself, who is this tyrant you're talking about? Well, this tyrant is Mr. Immortal in the future. And Mr. Immortal, he became mad, he became insane, he became bloodlust, and he just started to enslave and slaughter every single civilian he could see. He was doing mass genocide, and it was disgusting, and he is blaming every single thing on Invincible. He is basically whining and crying to Invincible, saying that you caused this, you caused me to turn insane, you caused me to turn rabid, you caused all of these people to die because you told me that I could be the one to rule over these people. It seems that the Invincible of this future, he ditched Mr. Immortal and he left Mr. Immortal to turn insane. But the thing is, this is not Mark's fault. This is not the past Invincible's fault. So Invincible, he's trying to tell Mr. Immortal that, look, I did not know anything about this. You know, you can still stop what you're doing right now. The Mr. Immortal I know is not a murderer. He is not a tyrant. But Mr. Immortal in the future starts to fight Mark. He starts to get mad, and he is screaming at Mark, telling Mark that, look, the only way this will end is if you kill me. Please put me out of my misery. I don't want to be king anymore. Then Mark, he is not trying to kill Mr. Immortal, but Mr. Immortal forces Mark's hand, because when they're fighting, during the fight, Fightmaster and Dropkick, they managed to escape the guards and they reach the throne. But once they reach the throne, Mr. Immortal grabs Fightmaster or Dropkick and he's about to kill them. But Mark, he comes behind Mr. Immortal, and then he now grabs his head and rips it straight from his body, 1-to-1 with the comics. I really liked when they did that. That was so peak in my honest opinion. And Mark, he is not liking what he just did. He had to kill Mr. Immortal. Even though Mr. Immortal deserved it, Mark does not want to kill anybody. Even though Mark has killed before, Mark hates killing. And once this happens, Fightmaster and Dropkick now bring Invincible back to his date, back with Adam Eve, and they now embrace each other. They now start to kiss. After this happens, we see that the episode is actually 1-to-1 with the comics, because they adapt one of my favorite scenes in this volume. That is the prison break between Omni-Man, Battle Beast, and the GOAT, Alan the Alien, because the reason why Alan the Alien was arrested in the first place, he let himself get arrested. Alan the Alien is very, very strong. He is stronger than most Vulturemites. He let himself get beaten up and taken to prison just so that he can see if Omni-Man is actually alive. And once he sees that Omni-Man is actually alive, Alan the Alien conspires to cause a prison break, because Alan the Alien, he needs new allies. He needs strong members of his team so that he can take the war, he can take the fight to the Vulturemite Empire, and he can stop them once and for all. But Omni-Man, the thing about Omni-Man is that he believes that he deserves to be sentenced to death after all the things that he did. He betrayed his world, he betrayed his family, he betrayed Earth, he betrayed everyone that he ever encountered. He even betrayed his son when he beat the shit out of him in season 1. And Omni-Man, he just thinking to himself that, look, I deserve to be executed. But Alan the Alien thinks otherwise. So when it's time for Omni-Man to be executed, executed, Omni-Man, he's getting his ass beat by these two Vulturemites. They are beating him to death. This is the ritual that the Vulturemite Empire does once you defect from the Vulturemite Empire, and once you cause treason, they beat you to death. So Alan the Alien, he sees this opportunity to break out of the prison. He could have broken out of the prison anytime he wanted to. He just needed a reason to. So once he breaks out, he causes a massive prison break, but he realizes that the guards are killing all the prisoners, so he now releases the worst prisoner of this entire building, and that is Battle Beast. And man, Battle Beast is so cool. Battle Beast was cool as fuck when I was reading it in the comics, and watching it on the TV screen, Battle Beast is still cool in my honest opinion. I really love this entire scene, and I really love that they copied this entire scene one-to-one, bar for bar, back to back. That's what we need in Hollywood. We need more Hollywood studios copying from the source material one-to-one. But as this is going on, we see that Omni-Man is about to die. The time is running out, so Alan the Alien and Battle Beast, they reach the place where Omni-Man is at. And Battle Beast, the reason why he's even going along with Alan the Alien's plan is because he wants worthy opponents so that he can kill. He wants Vulturemites. He believes that Vulturemites are the worthiest opponents in the entire galaxy, and Alan the Alien, he promises Battle Beast that. So once they now start to fight the Vulturemites, I ain't gonna lie, man, Alan the Alien was getting his ass beat. But the thing about this is because Alan the Alien, he lets people beat him up. Alan the Alien, he is so strong that he can actually turn off his own fighting skills just so that he can get beat up, so that he can accomplish something. And the thing that he accomplishes in this very scene is that he wanted Omni-Man to get the fighting spirit, to get the cause, if I can say that, to get the motivation to break out. And the motivation that worked was when Omni-Man witnessed Alan the Alien almost get killed by one of the Vulturemites. So when Omni-Man sees that, he breaks out, he helps out Alan the Alien and Battle Beast, and that fight was crazy. But Alan the Alien, he knew that, okay, we need to take this fight outside and actually escape. So once they do that, that's when the episode ends, and we see that Alan the Alien, he gets Omni-Man on board. And Omni-Man was shocked. He was like, you almost died there. Why did you let yourself get killed? And Alan the Alien explains that, look, I just needed you to get a single motivation to help me, man. I really do like that the Invincible show, for the most part, they are copying almost every single scene, word for word, one-to-one, bar for bar. Even though some scenes, they actually do it too early or they do it too late. Even though they do it too early or do it too late, the scenes that they still do still feel one-to-one. They still feel comic book accurate, in my honest opinion. And that's what I love to see, man. I love when shows are comic book accurate, like Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, like Spider-Man the animated series, X-Men the animated series, most of the entire DCAU. I really love when shows are comic book accurate, man. But that's the end of the video. Invincible is really peak. Thursdays are my new favorite days these next couple of weeks, man. Every single Thursday, I'm going to be anticipating every single Thursday as from right now, man. But that's the end of the video. I'm out. Peace.